The markets have been absolutely wild, and I've been looking through for the next stocks that could have explosive growth coming up over the next quarter to several quarters. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, your friend here in trading, and I gotta say, you can't spell friend without N-E-R-D. Let's get right into it. All right, we're going to talk just briefly about SPY and QQQ, and then also I'm going to bring to you Tesla, Enphase, and Moderna in this video. And then also as a bonus, I'll toss in that Bitcoin bonus I've been doing recently. So let's get right into the charts on this one. So we're looking at SPY. You can see the rising wedge. I've been talking about this for what feels like months at this point in time. Fell out of it, came back up, and so far we're heading back down towards what we can see with the red and blue lines here. Those are our 50 SMA and EMAs that we're looking at, and that could be in the next area where we find that incredible support if we do continue to sell. The momentum indicators showing us right now that we're crossing down over the 50, that's a bearish thing. So we could see a further sell in the markets. We got to be watching for that as the market momentum changes for us. So in a near-term sense, we could possibly see a little bit further of a pullback from that. If you look really closely here, let me see if I can really get this on screen for you. There's a little yellow and a little green moving average here. Green is the 5-period moving average, exponential moving average. The yellow is the 13. When your faster moving averages cross over the slower ones, that can indicate direction. So we have it, the faster one crossing down over, so that could be a near-term at bearish move for us. And so as the momentum is suggesting right now, we got this drop coming in. We could possibly see a little bit more. We're going to have to watch and see as that plays out. QQQ, I said to watch the 50-day for support. And I'll tell you what, look at that. 1, 2, now 3 candles on that 50-day. And that's really, really testing that support. And you can see down across the tops of these that slowly but surely the bears are gaining ground against the bulls, and on the bottom of this thing the bulls are holding their ground and gaining a little bit against the bears. We're really squeezing in towards some big move in the Qs. We got to be watching for that. So getting into the explosive growth plays, Tesla is one of the stocks that, even though we might not have seen the bottom of this yet, we do currently have a double bottom right now. Our next line I think that we're going to get, we could possibly see that 180 coming up soon. We're going to have to watch and see. They do have earnings coming up. Let me see here. I'll click on this, and it says on the April the 23rd. So just 12 days from now, less than 2 weeks away. So I'll put up the updated Tesla stock price prediction and earnings projection up on the Patreon. That link is down in the description. You can go over there, sign up, and check that out. I'll have that ready to go before the weekend rolls around for us. So the 50-day EMA and SMA, that's the red and blue lines that you see right here. Should we cross over that, and should we show that that is support, that will be the time that we start to amp up. So whether it's in the near term that we see it happening soon, that the bottom's in, that the worst has been priced in, and then it's upward from there, especially with the announcement for full self-driving robo-taxi coming out on August the 8th of this year. The earnings, there could be some anticipation leading up to that, leading to some of that price appreciation. We're going to have to watch and see. We are part of a descending wedge pattern on this as well. I don't currently have it drawn on, but there's a trend line across the top of this and across the bottoms, and that is a bullish reversal pattern. And these last 2 candles have moved us up above that. So far, this last one holding that support. So this is one I think should absolutely be on your radars for watching. I keep dollar cost averaging into it. I will keep doing so over time, especially while we have what I think are depressed values for Tesla stock. Moving over to Enphase, check out this ascending triangle pattern that we have after an extended sell-off. We could most definitely get that bullish reversal, and we are nearing, let me turn off the EMA so you can see this more clearly. We are nearing a golden cross moment for Enphase. Now, mind you, solar is an interest rate sensitive area, and so the Fed needing to cut those rates, we're going to have to watch and see. It's not as easy as just cutting rates. So can the Fed hold out the rates as long as they have, even in the face of that higher inflation? Honestly, the decision might be made for them sooner or later, especially where commercial real estate is involved in things like that. I think by keeping the rates higher much longer, that they are going to, even if they tried to increase the federal funds rate right now, that I don't think that would go too well for them. So I do think that we're still going to get cuts, even maybe a little bit more than what's currently being anticipated, unless we get some massive resurgence in inflation. But like I said, the decision might be being made for them like as we speak. So we're going to have to watch over the next quarter or two for what happens. But Enphase, this extends all the way out to the summertime, by the way. We are looking for a solid break and where we can actually hold that 200 days. So far, the last few times we've been able to peekaboo over it. Once we have the 200 days of support, that golden cross is triggered. And I'll tell you what, there's some serious upside that can be had with what we have for Enphase, possibly showing us up to 145 or 150 per share for Enphase. Moderna has a very similar chart, although their trajectory, they're actually even closer to that golden cross moment. They have actually turned the 200-day into support for us. Sold off a little bit yesterday after some good news on a cancer vaccine coming out from them. So moving away from some of that dependence on some of the COVID vaccine and moving out into filling out more of the commercialization throughout 2024 and 2025. After this sell that they've had coming out of the pandemic, I think that the bottom for this one is in, and I think that this pattern that we're going to see is going to continue. We even have on this an inverse head and shoulders pattern right now, and I have the neckline drawn right across the top of that for you, part of this ascending triangle pattern that we have. I think that Moderna is going to have significant, serious upside for us. Now, mind you, we have right at about 115, right about where that neckline is. Getting through that and holding that as support is going to be absolutely massive for showing that upside, and it's no reason why we keep on seeing selling pressure every time that we get near there. That is a very significant area of historical support, and since we're below it, historical resistance. And so, like I said, we're just going to keep on seeing that pressure. We do also have a bit of a double bottom happening more recently in this, and that could continue to go into the upside. The momentum indicator is currently looking good. The moving averages are looking good. That golden cross moment could continue to play out for us for Moderna. Now, for that Bitcoin bonus, we have for Bitcoin, check it out. We're breaking out through the top of this thing, and we actually had a bearish engulfing candle recover quite nicely. Didn't manage to take the top, so right now it's a little bit iffy, but we are still sort of consolidating, moving sideways. Even the RSI shows us that we're kind of going right around 50, oscillating around 50, can't seem to break it. But if we can actually put in about 77,000 on this in the near term. And over the longer term, I think over the next 6 to 12 months, depending on what we see happening, especially with further trouble in the bond market, when people are looking for ways to diversify, especially if they're diversifying away from the dollar, that Bitcoin is going to be one of those speculative areas, especially following the Bitcoin halving. Maybe not necessarily immediately, because I think some of that's been priced in. That's why we're seeing some of the appreciation that we have seen, and some of the trouble now is that we're sort of deciding on that. We're about a week away from the halving. About a week and 2 days, or a week and a day, or a week and 2 days. 19th or 20th of April is about when we should see that happening. Maybe it's been further settled since then, since we're getting closer to that time. So over the next 6 to 12 months, I think we could see that 6-figure mark for Bitcoin, and that's going to be just an incredible rally. We're going to have to be watching for that. We have had an absolutely massive run over the past several months. So we also need to keep that in mind, that a sell-off at this point in time, we want to pay attention to the Fibonacci's. The technicals are going to be absolutely massive when it comes to watching Bitcoin and where it's going to retrace for where we're going to find those areas of significant support. A 50% fib, for example, or even the 61.8 is going to be huge for us. So I'm going to wrap this thing up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the link down in the description for the Patreon if you want to see my buys and sells, see how I'm playing this market, talk to me and my community members. There's a link down there in the Patreon for the Patreon for you. There's also a link down there for my for StockMo's technical analysis trading course. If you learn to do technical analysis like I do and like he does, and also learn more about the bread recipe that he uses for trading and that I also use in my trading strategies, that link is also down in the description for you as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.